Oh. Welcome everyone back to a brand new episode of BMP at the Movies, the name that I gave a title without no disconcerting to Daniel whatsoever.
Is that her name?
I don't know. If you like it, then we'll stick with it. I just been listing it down.
BMP at the Movies. I mean, I like how direct it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can pick something else. It'll just be another placeholder.
I mean, okay, for now, that works better than Untitled Movie Show.
Yeah, it just seems overly lazy and they're trying to be funny.
I mean, people probably think we're lazy right now. This has been how long since our last
The
show?
Last Jedi, that was the beginning of December.
It wasn't. We haven't made it all year. It's almost like we haven't made a whole podcast for a whole year.
No, yeah, it's been nothing but pretty much like Busted Muska has basically just turned into an anime podcast because Danny and the Electric Fox barely had anything to.
Well, we're back because I had the good graces of having the one Sunday that I can actually do this shit.
And then, even though I had to call out of work for this, but fuck it, I haven't had a whole weekend off since, like, January.
But yeah, for people watching who have watched anything of our stuff, I am, now that it is legal for me to say so, I have been working on Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yay! And it doesn't look... I lost my shit when I found out where the zombie map was going to be taking place. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Fun fact for most of you, when I was watching the reveal live with you guys, yeah, like, I saw the reactions live, I saw all of that stuff live, it was cool.
Yeah.
So you know, most of it was news to me, but, you know, it was good.
Yeah. One thing I've been trying to look for is, are these celebrities still, or are they just, yeah, we couldn't find anyone for this map? Because I didn't recognize
I don't know anything about that.
There's one guy who kind of looked like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan can't do accents unless they're, like, Southern. So, yeah. Anyway, it does look exciting, and since you did work on it, I have to support you.
Anyways, that work has been taking up most days. I work a lot on that, so trying to find time to do the show, it's been quite a freaking challenge.
Yeah.
But today we're here, so we're gonna go a quickie round through a lot of movies that we did see, and we're going to talk about them briefly as fast as we can. And then there's going to be a few that we're going to stay on because they need to be addressed.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll start with Thor Ragnarok for first off. A movie that Jeff Goldblum just comes and says, hey, I'm here, and you'll love this movie because I'm here.
Exactly. And that is the one thing that you will remember from this movie, because I remember my experience 100%, and that was, I was dying of sickness. I was overworking, I wasn't resting properly, I was dying of a sickness, and the only thing I can remember from that movie up until I saw it on Blu-ray was Jeff Goldblum as a precious baby child.
Yeah, I mean, like, this movie, okay, so it took the silliness of Thor Dark World, but, you know, made it to a cohesive movie.
It wasn't Michael Bay humor, because watching Thor 2 again, because what I did recently is I saw through all of them in preparation of Infinity War. And Thor 2 had a lot of really inappropriate jokes that were just stupid, like, oh, the Professor Man's running around naked and saying he'll save people. Okay, that's not funny, but you think it's funny.
Yeah, so, you know, it overall, like, I think whoever worked on this movie plays Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone has seen this movie, you know that Thor is a striker titan, so, like, you know, represent.
No, and also, haven't you seen Flash Gordon?
No.
No?
I mean,
that's something
very, very little.
Yeah,
I've seen.
And
it's because it's dated.
Yeah.
Very dated.
And also, we both did see Ted, and Ted had an entire scene that took over the movie, dedicated to Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was about to say Flash Thompson. I'm like, this isn't a Spider-Man movie. But yeah, no, this is by Taika Waititi, which I still have to show you the movie he's known for. But Taika Waititi, you guys all know, he did work with Flight of the Conchords. He directed a couple of episodes from that. He directed the absolutely hilarious What We Do in the Shadows, where he also played one of the main characters in that one. He did Hunt for the Wilder People, which the only thing you'll know from that movie is the fact that the fat kid from Deadpool was in that movie, and that's kind of how he got, like, big. Deadpool even brings it up at one point.
I mean, every time you say that director's name, I'm just like Gesundheit.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. No, or Waititi. Yes,
no,
Star Wars.
No, please.
Anyway, yeah. Real quick for me, I thought this movie was fantastic. Thor. I was always a big fan of the first Thor movie, not so much the second one. I thought taking him off planet, off galaxy completely to be in a gladiator match was kind of fun. They made the Hulk into just a big precious child. I don't know how they were able to do that.
I mean, he spent how many years out?
2 years.
2 years out?
Just the Hulk. There was no banner back and forth.
Yeah, it was just the Hulk. I mean, he went from destroying everything to, like, champion of the people.
Yeah. Which, wouldn't it have been so much better if they kept that a secret altogether?
Just Planet Hulk just left it. But then you still want a Planet Hulk movie, don't you?
No. I'm talking about don't show them in the trailers. Don't show them in the
if they just kept it that shush, yeah. But at the same time, it did sell the movie to a lot of people. It's like, oh, Thor and Hulk are gonna fight, and this time for real, not just like pal around fight.
Yeah, no trying to intentionally not hurt him kind of fight. Kate Blanchett, which I was really surprised to see in this movie. Because Kate Blanchett is like one of those like upper class actresses. It's just fun seeing her just be a complete bitch in this movie and have a good time with it. She was Hela.
Gila.
Yeah, no, she was great in this movie, and I give this movie 9. I give this movie 9 undead wolves out of 10.
For me, it was definitely. Yeah, like around there, 8.5, 9. It was fun all around. I would see it again. I mean, I think we own it. I think we bought it. I'm not sure. I don't actually know. Alex was going to buy it. He didn't buy it. He bought something else.
I don't think he's seen it.
No, he still hasn't seen it yet. Okay, but yeah, for me, yeah, it's a 8.5 freaking Valkyrie warriors who have come back from the dead out of 10. Who
totally was able to survive Infinity War because the directors flat out said, "Don't worry, she's alive."
Right.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
She was great. I really hope she does become the next Kick-Ass. That would be hilarious.
Moving on to our next quickie, we have Black Panther.
Also known as, if you don't like this movie, you are a filthy racist colonist.
I take issue with a lot of that. I mean, look, I absolutely adore Black Panther because it's like the one, representation movie we desperately need that does it well, that's not offensive, that really does give not role models to people who don't have them.
And he's not a black superhero who's defending the hood.
Wait, was that the thing that people said?
Okay, Steel? If you ever saw that, he was defending the hood.
Oh, yeah. In terms of, like, the 90s, all the...
Because every time there was a black superhero, it was, I'm defending the hood and keeping evil black people from...
What was Shaq again?
Oh,
no.
Steel.
Oh, no, that was that one. Okay, yes, okay.
And then there was, I think there was Meteor Man, where a black guy got superpowers from a meteorite, and that was also defending the hood.
Like the only one that kind of not that, and that's Blade, and even then, that's not particularly a role model.
He's a hitman. He's not really a hero.
Yeah, exactly. So Black Panther, it fills in that void that's been empty for basically forever. Yeah. And I appreciate and love all that stands for, because it's just that one movie that you're like, holy crap, this is cool. Holy crap, Wakanda forever. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and what one thing that like I do like enjoy that people are really doing though is there are people now that they are buying Black Panther comics, they are looking back at his mytho and just being exposed to like Black Panther being more than, hey, that guy in the Marvel movie, that guy who stole the show in Civil War because he was like the best thing in that, one of the best things in Civil War. That was kind of the movie that made them realize, okay, we need to get a Black Panther out like now.
Yeah, like for me, like I just like how they show like, oh, this is how you get your your wax on wax off suit. Yeah. With your fancy necklace.
Yeah, and I also like how this is a movie that they really went into the traditions because we're going into a completely new world. A completely new world of people who are never colonized by the whites, so they still kept their own, like, what's the way, rituals, ways of life?
Traditions is what you're
Traditions.
looking for. You're looking for traditions. But yeah, we're talking about, like, a country that never saw any drastic cultural change.
Yeah.
Because history sucks.
Yeah, there was no white people coming in and teaching them the ways of the Christian.
Anyways, yeah, this untouched society has its own, like, you know, basically utopian, like, amazing place. They have all the technology. And they basically have magic. Their technology is so advanced, it's basically magic.
Yeah, I remember how adamantium in the comics was a thing, or vibranium in this case. It was just a thing that was like, it makes really strong armor, and it's inside Wolverine, giving him a muscle body. And in this one, it's like, it could cure diseases, it could completely heal up a gunshot.
Look, you see, what Cappy's shield can save thousands of lives, and he keeps it to protect himself. What a selfish role model.
Yeah, he literally has the cure for death on his shoulders. But as you guys know, real quick, you have been knowing that when this movie did come out, because it's already like, what, 4 years old by this point? February, January, yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, the movie's about 4 years old already. We already know that there were just people who were bullying reviewers. They were calling people racist. Adam was maybe from YMS. He was one of the people who got hit the most, being called a racist. And
wait, did you say years?
Huh?
Wasn't it months?
Months, yeah. So, in 4 years...
The way it's like, I've just kicked me. It's like, wait, you said years.
My bad. So, yeah, in months, like, people have just been getting bullied, and, like, there was that stupid thing you were telling me where white people were going to the movie and saying they got beaten up.
Oh, yeah, there was this whole social media thing that they were, like, doing false reports of, like, getting hurt trying to go see this movie, and all of the photos they posted could be cross-referenced on Google for, like, other cases that were completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Like, they just basically searched up, like, woman eye bruise, and they posted that. And then they said there was a whole story, and that was their wife. And it's just like, who? What?
Yeah.
You know that's posted on... We can see where you got it.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And of course, there were just people who did feel like, look, you didn't like this movie, so that makes you a racist. You don't see that Black Panther isn't just a superhero movie, it's an entire social movement. Let's calm down, okay? Let's calm down. It's still a superhero movie.
Well, like, I want to stress this, just me personally, like, I respect and love everything Black Panther stands for, again.
Yes.
But people need to chill out. Because it is just one movie. We need to push for more movies like this. We can't just make this one the god tier, the be all end all movie for that. Like, it's just the first step. Like, you know, it's a great movie. I love it. Recommend it totally. That's straight up a 9 freaking, you know, cat claws out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. It's fucking great. And I love the role reversal of you have a token white character just along for the ride, yeah, versus the other way around like it's in a lot of other movies.
Yeah, and I also liked how in this one, one of the big things that has always gone on for years in the world is the fact that America has all these technological advances and they don't like to share them with these third world countries. So in this case, it's funny seeing an African society not wanting to share their medical advances with first world societies that to them are third world. And that's kind of like the entire driving force of the movie. There are plenty of powerful performances in here. Chadwick Boseman is very underplayed in this movie, but the scenes he does have are really good. He's really working with what the director doesn't want to give him. As you guys know, there's nothing without saying that Michael B. Jordan is easily, at the time, he was the best Marvel villain we had. Now he's number 2.
See, while everyone's being super thirsty over Michael B. Jordan, I'm just like, but look at the princess. She's so cute.
I know, yeah, the princess.
Like, she's the best Disney princess ever. She gets guns.
Yeah, and then there's Denai Guerrera, who plays the leader of the Dora Milaje, who is
the huntress
yeah,
woman.
yeah. Well, she is now my queen. And I was about to, like, sell my Walking Dead figures, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had Michonne. She is my queen. I will keep her forever.
Oh.
But yeah, that was kind of a problem, is they were, the princess, Lupita Nyong'o's character, Denai Guerrera, they were very interesting characters to the point they kind of overshadowed Black Panther, even in his own fight sequences. Like the big final battle, you barely see the fight between him and Killmonger. You mostly see the girls up top fighting.
I mean, my favorite thing on the internet was just all these memes of just cats hitting each other, and it's like the ending of Black Panther, and it's just cats pawing each other. Like
Black Panther fight leaked, and it's just like...
It's just cats like booping each other in the head, and it's fucking great.
And running away, and then you just hear like the music in the movie playing do 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 do.
But no, like yeah, as far as standalone titles go, one of the strongest of all of they've made,
yeah,
for sure. And I also would say one of the more interesting soundtracks. One of the more interesting, like it's its own thing. Like it is a soundtrack for that movie. It's just like. Wow, I need to go check that out later, and I still haven't.
Yeah,
I needed to check that.
Yeah, they're mixing in, like, the actual score itself, there's maybe, like, 5 tracks that they play throughout the movie. But, like, that Kendrick Lamar album is really good, too. But I'm always a sucker when they mix in traditional whatever music with hip-hop. So in this case, they're mixing in traditional African music with hip-hop. So Killmonger's theme is, like... It starts off very tribal, and then it just kicks in with this beat that takes over the entire thing, and it's great. I love this movie. Of course, Black Panther was my favorite character in Civil War, so I didn't appreciate him getting downplayed a little bit. So
I mean, that's probably one thing that's the only detriment to me. It's just like it's a movie about Black Panther, and yet you can feel that he's not the main character ever. There's not a moment in the whole movie that you feel that he's the main character at any point. Because it just kind of switches. No, I am taking control of the movie. No, I'm taking control of the movie. No, it's my turn.
I'm doing this for black people. Okay, you can take the entire movie. Yeah, take the entire
and then Michael B. Jordan comes in and it's just like, hey, look, I'm a villain you can relate to. What's up? And you're like, does he have to die?
Does he have to? Which is why, as we speak, they are saying he might come back. Donald Glover might also play a villain.
They totally saved his ass by bringing Magics.
Yeah, I'm still thinking
because it's like you are one of our people. You must fight alongside us. You are a brave warrior.
Yeah, and in this way, I don't really. I know he was going to cause a genocide. He basically tore an entire civilization down the middle, but I don't know. Like he knew. Basically, he won in the end of the movie. It does end with Black Panther like, yeah, we do have to share advances with the world. We're just not going to colonize it like he wanted to. But,
yeah.
You know, he was right. So I give this movie 9.5 uses of adamantium. Of vibranium.
Okay, will you stop calling it adamantium?
That's what it was in the comics. God damn it, Fox. Stop being a bitch and collect that nice Disney money.
Nah, sorry. No for you. We're gonna skip Ready Player One because
I want a whole episode.
He wants a whole discussion on that because there's too many references in that.
And also just the power, the hidden powerful meaning that needs to be discussed that no one is talking about. Thank you. Okay.
The first movie I want to address in full and to some regard is Pacific Rim Uprising, the most offensive thing I've seen all year.
I love how basically every form of YouTuber has come together just to say "fuck you" movie.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, there's a lot of anime YouTubers are just like, this is a disgrace to not just mecha movies, but like the mecha genre altogether. I'll show you the video of this one guy that did an incredible video.
We don't need to put the trailer for it. It's hot garbage. I refuse.
This does get discussion though.
What?
I'm a hero like he was. Definitely not one of ours. Let's do this.
And there goes 60% of the entire fight. Anyway, I hate that stupid Tupac remix they did.
Okay, so Uprising, for anyone that was a fan of Pacific Rim 1, is something you can totally fucking skip.
Oh yeah.
Like, you should never watch this. There's no need for you to watch Pacific Rim Uprising. It is not related to the first movie in any regard to me.
It wants to.
It wants to
It
be,
wants to.
and then it just does not be that ever.
No.
Because the one thing I tell people is like, look, Pacific Rim 1 is fantastical, but it's grounded in reality and what we know, physics, and, you know, there are some elements there that, you know, go beyond disbelief, but it's not blatantly in your face that we're going to just retcon all of the laws of physics for this one scene.
Yeah.
Like, you know...
The monsters are big and slow, the robots are big and slow, so when they clash, it is going to just sound like two giant forces colliding into each other.
Yeah, and it's basically Pacific Rim Uprising could be an animated movie, beat by beat, and you wouldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean is, like, you would think it was just animated for, you know...
Yeah, like, think of it as Code Lyoko, where there are segments in live action, but then 90% of it is animated.
Oh my god.
Oh, by the way, in case you're thinking, wait, wasn't that entire show animated? There was a reboot series where the 2D animated parts were live action and the 3D animated parts are still 3D. Code Lyoko.
That's weird.
It was so weird because they still made them look like the characters from the cartoon.
But anyways, Uprising,
this movie.
like, as much as I'd love to go into an in-depth discussion that would take too long...
No, that would be the Pirates of the Caribbean episodes again.
It would just be me ranting of everything that's wrong, so I'm not gonna. But I will say this: it's just awful, just awful.
Yeah.
And they tried so hard to pander to overseas market because that's where the money was made, and I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, you can make a good movie here and pander over there.
Yeah, because like and the movie's aware of this too. In the first movie, it was America that was heading the entire Jaeger program. They were the last ones still working on it. They were the last ones basically bringing in all the nations together. In this one, they flat out say the Jaeger program was going to be shut down, but then China's division took over, so now we're planted in China, and that is
wait, no, was it where? No.
They were in Japan.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, you're right.
So it might have been like just Asia or something.
Point is, yeah, like it's kind of ridiculous how much the movie tells you don't ask questions and let's just accept what's happening, and I fucking hate it. I hate it because, like, in the first one, any complaint anyone had, I could point to a thing in the movie, be like, okay, it's referenced in some capacity as to why that happens here for this one scene. Like, it's not to say that it explains everything.
Yeah.
It's not to say that part one doesn't have its plot holes, but there was something you could point to at every point for every complaint. It's like they addressed it kind of in this way.
And also go to the screenwriter's Twitter page and go at him with a nitpick and he will fix it for you because there are so many people that were like, well, if Generator 1's didn't have proper radiation protection, then why is Channel Alpha still there? He's like, that's because the Russians are flat out aware of how dangerous nuclear radiation is, and if you see the way that Channel Alpha is built, the pilots are away from the nuclear reactor.
Yeah, the entire cockpit's an elevator.
Yeah.
And that's one thing people will always miss. And I told them to that too.
Yeah.
I was like, no, dude, Channel Alpha's... The pilots are as far away from the core. But, dude, you're gonna tell them Chernobyl was wasn't a learning experience?
Exactly.
No, that's why it's called Cherno Alpha. It's based off that.
Yeah, it's basically saying this is Chernobyl, but
better. It's Chernobyl, but walking.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feature us harder than it beat the landscape when it melted down.
Yeah, but my main issue with this movie is Del Toro from the very beginning had wanted to head this entire series. He wanted to be
He had nothing to do with this, did he?
No.
He just has like, oh, I made the series, kinda. You guys do whatever.
Him and the original screenwriter left because they couldn't come into an agreement with Universal. Universal wanted to make a movie that was skewing more towards China, while the Del Toro and the original screenwriter, they had a sequel idea already. They had something they wanted to do that would involve a Mexican Jaeger pilot coming in and like a young girl played by Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, and that element is brought into the second movie, except it's not Maisie Williams playing her. But they already had an idea for number 2. Universal didn't want to play ball, so they left, and Guillermo del Toro slapped on a producer credit so people don't suspect there was bad blood. But someone came out and said that is, as far as I know, what happened.
And it shows. I can't stress how much it shows, because, God, I could probably rant like Batman versus Superman about this. It would take the entire amount of time as the movie to tell you how much I did not like this movie.
Yeah.
But I haven't been miserable in the theater in a while, and that was one of them.
That movie was long.
It was long.
It was long.
It was awful, and I just wanted it to end, because I'm like, end this madness, end my fan suffering. Like,
yeah, it's
just everything I loved is just destroyed.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, I really wanted to buy those toys, but then I realized, no, here's the problem with Pacific Rim. Guillermo del Toro wanted to tell a giant robot story that was a love letter to anime. This movie is trying to sell you toys, which is why the amount of robots and monsters are so much bigger in this movie. So Banco can just dish out a bunch of toys that have been coming out a lot, but no, I'm not going to give them money, because then that's going to show them it's okay what they did to the second movie.
I still want a Gypsy Avenger.
Yeah. I mean,
and I went to Toys R Us because they're closing to try and find one.
You can't find one. I could probably get... I'll go see how much they are at Barnes & Noble. I could get you like a $20 discount. I think I can get you a 30% discount if my coupon is still valid.
Yeah, I still want a Gypsy Avenger because I do like the redesign a lot.
Yeah.
That's the only thing in the movie I will admit, yeah, that's great. I hate every single other Jaeger because they're so impractical.
Yeah, and we've just been saying it's bad. We haven't really been bringing up reasons why it's bad.
It's kind of... We're trying to avoid it as much as possible because that's a rabbit hole I don't want to go in.
Yeah, one big issue I want to bring up is me and you it was the first thing we talked about. The durability of the Jaegers were changing throughout the fights for dramatic reasons. Like, we could see a Jaeger getting flipped over its head, slammed point blank on the ground where it crashes through a hole and survives in one piece. And then we see a Jaeger get thrown through two buildings and suddenly it's torn up in pieces.
And the pilots are, like, completely gone.
Yeah, one pilot is dead and the other one's alive because reasons.
Yeah, like, we see Gypsy, like, get knocked into buildings and everything. Fine. One pilot gets knocked into a building. Oh, suddenly there's damage.
Yeah, the legs are broken. The arms are all over the place. The cockpit has a huge hole in it.
So, like, yeah, damage is very inconsistent throughout the whole movie. And don't get me started on the orbital freaking drop.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
On re-entry from Earth with a giant hole in the cockpit, the pilots aren't burning to a freaking crisp.
Yeah, and also, look, the movie's been out. It's coming out on Blu-ray in less than 3 weeks. They probably begged Mako Amori's actress to come back just to kill her off and then replace her with a woman exactly like her.
That's the weirdest part. They replaced... She becomes the new Mako because she's younger and more spry, and she's the proud owner of some crazy technological fake business. And
yeah.
I was just like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, do you just want to get to the ratings?
Yeah, just to me, this is...
Because if I say one actor's name, this is going to be longer than it has to be. And
no,
I want to talk about.
No, we're going to end it here because I'm not opening that kind of words. I'm sorry. That's not what this show is for right now.
Maybe when we do have time to do like a worst of 2018, we'll just go in.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
But for now, I fucking hate this movie so bad. The only reason I'm going to give it a 2 is because I like how Gypsy Avenger looks, and that gets 1 point.
Yeah. Wait, what about the other one?
The other point is that it exists and it was released.
Yeah, right, because I broke my rule, and that was we're not allowed to give it a 0, and I broke that rule.
Yeah, we're not allowed to give zeros. You can only give 1 because it exists and you saw it.
Yeah, I will say this.
It is a 2 freaking breaking laws of physics out of 10.
Yeah, so I will say this. I really enjoyed some of the characters. I really enjoyed the main girl pilot who was supposed to be the main character in this movie. But hey, she wasn't John Boyega, so we have to have John Boyega overacting and acting silly to the point where it just
as much as I laughed at John Boyega scenes, I still am like, you don't need to be in this movie.
You don't need to be here. Just collect that Star Wars check, dude. You don't ever have to act again.
My thing is that he just clashed against everyone else. Everyone is so boring and mundane, and he's like, hey, it's me. You know me. I like Star Wars, don't you?
Clint Eastwood's son Scott Eastwood, who played his pilot in this movie, his co-pilot in this movie, he was acting his ass off. He was like, I am in a serious movie.
I am super serious soldier man, and you need to stay in line, soldier.
Yeah.
I am that dude. I am Captain Tidy Whities.
Yeah, so just because I enjoyed John Boyega to an extent, and I really did think the new actress in this movie, who this was her first movie ever, so kudos on that one. I'll give this movie a 3 because for the exact same reasons Daniel stated is why I didn't like it. There's plenty of reasons that we couldn't bring up.
We're not gonna do it, but we'll do it at some point.
Yeah,
because we don't want to go down that hole. We're gonna be here for too long.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next movie. Is freaking...
Also, R.I.P. Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm still sad about that.
No for you. Your next one is your quickie.
Yeah.
This is your solo review of Rampage. Tell us about giant monkey fights a giant lizard.
Okay, so real quick, fuck that Tomb Raider movie. That movie was a goddamn one. Because that was just... did I say Uncharted or Tomb Raider? I said Tomb Raider, right?
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, okay. Because that shit was just the first Tomb Raider game. I'm so glad I didn't think of that while we were out with Eric, or else that probably would have gotten him mad. Since he doesn't like Uncharted.
He loves those Tomb Raider games,
yeah.
Though. So for him, that movie is perfect. And to us, we're like, oh, I'm so bored.
Yeah, it's boring. How dare you? Anyway, yeah, screw that game. That was not a good video game adaptation. I am sorry. It tried, but, it sucked. Rampage, on the other hand, it was a movie that I wasn't really expecting it to be good, because when it really gets down to it, I'm not a fan of the Rampage video game. I don't get why a giant monster simulator game allows you to die in one hit from a handgun.
Look, you got shot by many handguns to be died to that one handgun. But yeah, I, for one, that loves Rampage and played it a lot. I just flat out refuse to see this movie, because I'm just like, not that I'm against it or anything. I'm just like, I don't need to see this. For me, I don't care that it exists. I'm like, sure. Like, literally, it's so loosely based on the game, it might as well not even be named the game. This could be any other thing.
It isn't, though. Because when it gets down to it, basically, the movie focuses on a corporation that they wanted to... Basically, there was this woman, she had a dream of creating a serum that can do cellular regeneration in order to cure cancer. Her evil, super one-dimensional bosses were like, no, we have to basically make a super serum of that we're gonna experiment on animals and then create terrible hell beast. Which, as we see in the beginning of the movie, this movie opens up as a horror movie where if any of you guys saw that, what's his name, Jake Gyllenhaal movie Life, it's basically that movie except replace a big squishy alien with a rat creature. But yeah, so basically a space station explodes that had the new serums of the Rampage virus. They crash into Earth, and one falls into the bayou. Another one falls in a San Diego zoo, and then another one falls into a desert full of wolves, or a forest full of wolves, where they all get exposed to, and as the movie goes on, they generally grow larger and larger, and their temper goes up. We focus on The Rock, who... he's so charismatic. I am fully aware that 50% of this movie's success goes off to him.
By himself?
Because...
as is.
Because he is so charismatic. He has such this really natural, realistic relationship with this gorilla who is just, a man in a CG costume. But, he's really funny. Everyone in this movie is actually fully aware they are in a crummy B movie, but they're having fun with it.
So they ham it up.
They do ham it up. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you saw in those trailers, that whole scene of him leaning and talking like this the whole time, that's his entire character in the movie.
Good.
It's fantastic. He is not the villain in the movie, I will tell you this now. He may or may not be... They haven't said it, and no one really wants to come out and say it yet, but he may or may not be connected to Monarch from the King Kong and Godzilla movie. So kind of get hyped for that. I'm kind of looking forward to see if they're going to go through with that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, this movie, as you know, Daniel thinks, it's not that loosely based off Rampage, because when it really gets down to, the only thing they changed in Rampage is that these aren't people turning into giant monsters. These are animals that are turning into giant monsters. And the movie does follow by its own rules. They do follow the fact that none of these creatures are evil. They're just having this serum scramble their brain and making them very unpredictable and angry. The way they brought the gorilla back to its senses, I thought was kind of cool, because they did create a very tense timer on when they did what they did would work on the gorilla. The giant monster fights in this movie were so beautifully well made. The fact that you do have The Rock and a giant CG gorilla going up against a giant crocodile and a wolf was really fun. Now let's go into some criticisms. Number one, the villain's main plot for this movie was so needlessly stupid and wouldn't have worked in any way possible. The plan was, okay, so we need to collect the samples of these giant monsters. We're going to release a frequency being emitted from our building to call the giant monsters to Chicago so the military can kill them and we can collect the samples. First of all, would no one not be able to trace that signal back to them? Hey guys, this big company that is collecting all of the data from the monsters, yeah, the signal was coming from their building, meaning they're the reason for the heaps and heaps of death that happened to Chicago.
Okay, that's not even my thing. My thing is, you expect the army to work against this?
Yeah.
Like you said
no, and the army wasn't even the army had no idea that this plan was happening. They just knew that when they got word that giant monsters were coming to Chicago, that the army would immediately set up a barrier to fight the creatures.
It's
dumb.
That's
dumb.
like that's not how that works.
But no. Again, there's like they knew, because they knew from the very beginning that, okay, George is coming from San Diego, Lizzie's coming from what I presume is Louisiana, and Ralph is coming from what I think is some part of the forest. They never entirely sure where, but they know that following the trajectory where they're going, where the towns they destroyed, that yes, they are heading towards Chicago. We don't know why, but we're going to set the military there and hope we have enough time to evacuate people. It didn't work, though, because then they go into the city, and that's what every video game movie failed to do, and that was dedicate your entire third act into the video game. So you have the military coming around every corner, shooting them with machine guns and missiles, and just these monsters crawling into buildings, jumping out of buildings, throwing military vehicles at other vehicles. There's a part where Lizzie crawls into the bottom of a building, crawls out through the other end, and you just see the entire building collapse over. It was amazing.
Oh, because you can collapse buildings. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it really, the movie does turn into Rampage for the last act, and it's awesome. Also,
like for me, like the only Rampage that has some kind of semblance of a story is 2, because you have this like scientist lady telling you your missions and why you're doing them.
But that's the one I played.
That's the one that's like looks really cartoonish and like 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you played that one.
Yeah,
because that was more common in the arcades than the original.
The one I like now, unless you go to Button Mash.
I love Button Mash.
I love that place. The one that I have the most memory of is the one that came out for the Xbox and PlayStation 2 and GameCube. It was World Tour.
Oh, I know the name, but I don't remember anything about the game.
That one had like 17 monsters, including the originals, and that one was pretty good. You didn't die in one hit, so that was really cool.
Well, I mean, it was a console thing. It's not made for an arcade. You don't need to die in one hit.
Yeah. So, anyway, another thing, too, is that these villains are terrible, man. They were played by Mila Ackerman, Silk Spectre from the Watchmen movie, and some other guy, I have no idea who the fuck he was, but they were terrible, they were dumb. The only kind of cool thing they did is when Mila Ackerman got eaten by George, she was wearing a red dress, which is really cute. Because red dress
Oh,
women
yes,
are...
the red dress women.
Yeah, that was really cute. Overall, I like this movie. I do believe it is the very first good video game movie we have that I can say without, like, yeah, you know, the writing is terrible, but it's still a good movie. No, I legitimately think this is a good film. I do recognize its issues, and I wish I can go into more detail about some of the other critic problems, but I will give this movie just a good old 7 out of a good old 7 7 helicopters jumping off a building out of 10.
Jumping up, wait.
There was a part where George was bringing down the main building, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to basically start this helicopter and have it jump off a building because the tail was stuck.
Oh, God.
Again, you will watch this movie when it comes out. I will lend you the movie when it comes out on Blu-ray.
If you say so.
You said you would, because you refused to see it in theaters when I said, let's go see it.
I didn't want to.
No, seriously, it's fun. Especially since you did find Tomb Raider fun, because Tomb Raider did have some fun scenes in it.
Yeah, like, it was boring, but at least, you know, there was...
Some scenes are fun.
I mean, some things are mildly fun, because I'm like, I played that game, so for me it was less fun because it was in the movie, more fun because, like, I know what they're doing.
Yeah, I understood that. I understood because it's Star Wars. Anyway, what's the next one? Please tell me it's what I think it is.
It's my quickie. I'm going to talk about Overboard.
Yes, because everyone knows that if you want to find an actor just as handsome as Kurt Russell, you get Eugenio Derbez.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you why. I don't think you know why.
I don't know why.
This is a remake of a Goldie Hawn Kurt Russell movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So go, Daniel.
So Overboard was this amazingly cute movie, definitely made for, you know, a Hispanic demographic. I mean, when we saw it, like, half the movies in Spanish, half the movies in English, but they have English subtitles because, you know, you have to.
Yeah, American theaters, yo.
Yeah, anyways, it's basically the TLDR of this movie is Eugenio Derbez. He is this rich playboy, son of some giant corporation, and he's just on his yacht having a good time, and just with his girls, with his booze, with his, like, private chefs and everything. He's just, you know, being a shitlord because he has the money to do so.
Daniel, you also forgot to mention the fact that he is a huge D-bag, too.
Well, hang on, I'm getting there. So,
okay.
And then the story focuses on this one, like, lady.
My wife.
This one lady has 3 daughters, and she's trying to make it out on her own. She's trying to make it. She works a couple of jobs and all this stuff. And her job as a, like, vacuum service for boats, Eugenio Derbez parks his yacht on this where she lives, and she's hired to go clean this place. And, you know, Eugenio Derbez is like a dick. Is like, oh, you know, you're pretty cute, cleaning lady, but why did they send the cutest one? Why didn't you send the cutest cleaning lady? I mean, you're all right. I mean, you know, with enough booze, I can, you know.
See, I would not like this movie because you do not say that about Anna Faris and do not get a punch in the face from me.
Anyways, you know, she's offended. She starts giving him sass. Him being a dick, he throws her off the yacht, doesn't pay her, ruins her equipment by throwing it also off the yacht and said bye and left.
Yeah, and basically sends her into debt because, like...
Yeah, sends her into debt because he has to pay for the equipment being trashed. So, you know, he's a massive dick. What happens is that idiot gets so drunk that he was about to make love with this girl on this yacht, but he doesn't have condoms. So he goes out to the ship to find condoms because his workers are on break because they're watching the soccer game. Because of course they are. Yeah. He goes, he finds them in the back of a couch in the back of the boat, and a wave hits the boat, and he goes off the boat.
Yeah.
And that's the hence of the movie name, Overboard.
Yeah.
So he gets washed back to the shoreline with amnesia. He goes back to the shoreline with amnesia. And then, the authorities pick him up because he's some bumbling idiot who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, they said it in the local newspaper. This guy, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows who he is. And then the cleaning lady, because, she met him.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it's that one motherfucker. It's like, how do you get revenge on that asshole?
Let me go ahead and pose as his wife.
So she makes fake documents because she makes fake documents to go get him as her husband. That's amnesia. And, because, the movie, they do let him take custody of him. And they bring him to the house, and they basically is like, oh, these are your daughters. I have kids. What the fuck? And then, they make him basically a slave of the house just to punish him. And then it just becomes this cute love story because he's got a heart of gold because he doesn't remember being an asshole.
Yeah.
That he's just, like, the best, like, stepdad ever for these kids.
Yeah.
And it's the most amazing journey because, like, he has never worked a day in his life, right? So he's, a fucking lanky, like, rich boy. And, like, he goes to, a construction site, and all the people are like, wow, look at your hands. They're like, they're so soft. You've never worked a day in your life, and we're going to work your ass today. And, hilarious hijinks happen as, he's completely unskilled worker making it. And, he's so happy he gets his first paycheck and all that stuff. It's amazing, his journey. And then, like, the movie goes out. She starts to fall for him, but then he starts to get his memory, and then it's like, oh wait, I know who I am now. Oh wait, I don't know who you guys are.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, this whole, love story, and it's really cute, and it's just him being redeemed as a person by living in the shoes of somebody who had nothing. It's from riches to rags, and then it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite of, like, how humbling it is to, like, go through life and go through the hardships and know what family is and all that other stuff. Oh my freaking god, I told you.
Someone knew. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah. If you like Eugenio Derbez movies, it's exactly what you want. It's funny. It's got a lot of heart. It might make you cry at one point. There was one point in this movie I'm like, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry so bad.
I'll definitely try to check it out because, as you know, I'm a huge fan of Instructions Not Included.
Oh, and that would make people cry like hell.
Yeah, and
I have not seen that still. But I did see this one because my mom loves it and we saw it for Mother's Day.
Did you see How to Be a Latin Lover?
No, I didn't.
That one wasn't that good. I didn't like that one. My mom did.
That one looked a little too raunchy for my taste.
No, it was very...
But, no, this one, Overboard, I think it's a cute movie. I would recommend it. It's a great movie. I totally give it an 8, trying to be a good parent out of 10.
Yeah. Like kids, this guy you've never seen in your life, but you call him daddy. Also, just before we move out, I want to say I'm really glad that they changed the gender because from what I know from the original Overboard, it's actually Goldie Hawn who is the person who had amnesia.
I don't know who Goldie Hawn is.
That's Kurt Russell's wife. But no, she is basically the Anna Faris character in this movie, but she's the Eugenio Derbez in the original movie.
Okay.
So in this one, we have a man who's like, yeah, this is my wife, and I love her, and this totally isn't rapey at all. Like, I'm glad that they made it that it was Anna Faris that tricked him and not the other way around.
Yeah, no, it works the way it is because I guess that's the funniest joke that happens for the good first act is because it's just like, well, we're husband and wife. Don't we make love? And she's like, no, you sleep in the shed out back. And she's like, you have a real bad problem with alcohol. We just want to get you, back to sober. And he's just like, I have a problem?
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll move on to what do we have next?
So now, moving on to our next movie topic, I believe it's Infinity War.
Awesome! After 30 years in the waiting. It felt like 30 years. After 10 years in the waiting, we finally got the movie everyone's been waiting for.
Should have been 2 years from now, so I feel like this took 12 years to make, therefore it's as good as Boyhood.
Oh, why didn't you do that, Marvel? Actually, how about you move Avengers Part 2
to 2 years from now?
Yeah. So then it will officially be 12 years and we were able to do what Boyhood didn't, and that was make a fun movie.
Oh my god. But yeah, Infinity War. It's the thing. It's the thing everyone wanted. And it's really good.
Yeah, no. It's been 10 years. Me and you barely started high school around the time Iron Man came out.
Think of all the angst.
Ugh, I know. But, yeah. We all know, of course, we all know what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a universe that is more exciting than the comics themselves.
But why?
Huh?
But why?
No, I'm just joking. Someone said that. They're like, I'm more invested in the movies than I am in the comics. And I'm like, that's because we only have like 19 movies to follow as opposed to millions of comics.
It's like, look, there's too many comics. We're just gonna choose one.
Yeah, like imagine that so the Infinity War, the Infinity War comic, the first time Thanos showed up, that was actually like thousands of comics leading up to that event, as opposed to 18 movies leading up to this. So yes, Avengers Infinity War is basically the tale of Thanos, the Mad Titan, not completely mad in this movie.
A movie that was supposed to have part 1 in the title, but then they realized no one wanted it to be cut in half, so they fooled everyone and it was the full movie, and it wasn't.
And it was in fact cut in half. It just had a satisfying ending.
Yeah, but to some people they didn't like it for some reason, but I digress.
I mean, it wasn't a satisfying ending as in everyone won. It ended and it wasn't like, okay, everyone, time for the... It wasn't the Hobbit ending. Desolation of Smog, that was shameless.
I remember your salts. That was great.
That was terrible. I still love the first 2 Hobbit movies, though.
I mean, like, for this movie, it was just like everything that you wanted, pretty much, 10 years ago.
Yeah, like 30 plus superheroes, including their like side characters and like helpers, finally just gathering together after a mad titan, a mad space alien who is leading an army of different aliens that he had basically colonized the planets because he believes the only way to fix a dying planet is to kill off half the civilization by random, and then boom, like no more poverty, no more starvation, which he isn't wrong, but again, it's immoral because what people will probably be like, okay, let's gather all of the old people and serial killers. Thanos believes in random selection, so he will kill kids. He will kill kids, he will kill parents.
And basically, he's just like, look, I'm going to wipe out half the universe. I will not discriminate in peace, love. You can see all later, you can't stop me.
Interesting thing, you could tell this was Marvel realizing they should do more with the character, because in the comic book, and from what I remember at the end of Avengers 1, Thanos fell in love with death. And he thought, maybe if I wipe out half the universe, Death will notice me and she will fall in love with me. That's exactly what you could tell Joss Whedon was going with that character too, because at the end of Avengers 1, Thanos' right-hand man says, it looks like Earth is more of a challenge than we thought. To challenge Earth is to court death. And then it just ends. But in this one, Thanos, he's a sympathetic character, even to the point where this is actually his movie more than anything else.
Which I like, because he's like that villain. You're just like, tell me more about you.
Yeah. Tell me more, thick grimace.
No.
Yes.
You mean
Thanos is new thick daddy.
Oh. You don't have to tell the internet twice. They've already jumped that shit.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you saw the animated spill review for Avengers, but like, yeah, someone photoshopped a photo of a super buff man, spray painted him yellow, and then photoshopped Thanos' face. So it's Thanos in a Speedo.
Oh god.
But yeah, I fucking loved this movie. It was everything I wanted this movie to be. The characters are funny. A lot of people are kind of being like they were able to make 30 plus characters work. I actually agree with what the Sardonicast guys said, and that was, no. They made 15 characters work, and then took the other 15 and just gave them 1 or 2 roles. 1 or 2 lines.
Yeah.
But it worked. I never felt... It never bothered me because this was Thanos' movie.
I mean, look, they had 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they made everything work with all this shit. Everything has a satisfying amount of use that it didn't feel like unnecessary or didn't feel like why did they shoehorn that in. It was just all leading to one goal, all leading to one cause. And it's because Doctor Strange saw 1.8 million movies and he said this is the ending of the movie.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing too, is like so many people had an issue. I think your brother did too, right? He had an issue when he gave him when he gave Thanos the time stone, and it was just like, well, he had to do that. If you remember what he said earlier, like
only one way we win, and that's him kind of winning.
Yeah, actually winning is the way we're gonna beat him.
Like, he has to win for us to win. What?
Yeah, but Thanos, this is maybe one of my favorite introductions to a villain in anything, because the movie opens up at the ending of Thor Ragnarok, where the Thor's little Asgardian ship, full of Asgardians, I mean, drive up to Thanos' ship, and it's just the ship being attacked, everyone's dead inside, and Thanos just beats the fuck out of everyone. He even beats the fuck out of the Hulk, and...
I love how that's the first scene in the movie, to show everyone, yes, Hulk would lose. Shut up. Sit down and watch the movie.
And a lot of people are like, well, Hulk, I don't know why Hulk is scared of Thanos, because Hulk has gotten beaten up before. Hulk has gotten beaten up in fair fights. Hulk loves a fair fight. Tony punching him in the face was no big deal because he knew he could still take on the Hulkbuster. Him being stabbed by the Abomination, same reason. He knew he could kill the Abomination, and this is just fun to him. He did not lay a single hit on Thanos that hurt him. The entire time he punched Thanos, Thanos laughed, broke his jaw, pounded him in the neck, and then picked him up like a puny human and slammed him on the floor, which is something no one ever did to him. And that's why throughout this entire movie, Hulk was just CG'd in all the trailers.
I found that hilarious, though, that, like, the Hulk is shown running in the trailer, and he's nowhere in that scene. Yes. That's actually just a Hulkbuster model.
Yeah.
But they used the same rig and animation and put CG Hulk over it. Yeah. They spent so much money trying to tell you that the Hulk was in the scene.
Yeah, and the Hulk was going to be doing his thing in this movie, but really it was just like, no. Throughout the entire time, they're trying to get him to come out, and he's like, no.
I kind of like that, though, that his head just grows green and bigger, and it just yells no and comes back.
Yeah, sometimes it's the whole face, and other times it's half of the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you say something, because when we first saw the movie, you didn't exactly have a chance to say what you thought of it.
Well, I mean, for me, it was just like there was so much thrown at you that I needed time to like take it all in. It's like, oh, there's a lot happened. Hang on, need to digest it all before I really talk about this. Oh, to me, it's just, it's good. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I actually feel bad for the parents that have to deal with their kids seeing all their favorite superheroes die.
Yeah. Second time I saw this movie, there was a little boy who was inconsolable. I just hear kids screaming, and it's okay, they're gonna come back. We're gonna find out what happens next year. Like, no, but Spider-Man, he died, and it's just like, oh, you sweet baby. It's okay, there's going to be a Spider-Man sequel. I told him that. I'm like, let him know that there is going to be a Spider-Man sequel. I do not want to see him like that. And then like, I guess his brother was like, oh, really? Thank you. And he's like, it was so sad. It was so sad. And I mean, when I saw the movie with you guys, I was even like, fuck. I don't know what to think.
That's why I'm saying, like, for me, like, I just feel sorry for all the parents that had to console their children as their favorite superheroes just bite it so hard.
Yeah. And there's some that they don't even know died, like War Machine was looking for Falcon, and he's like, hey, where'd you go? Right when he faded away into nothing.
I know. It's just like Winter Soldier. Oh no, Bucky.
Yeah. This was a movie I definitely checked to see a third time, but just the timing never scheduled up. And once Deadpool came out, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get a good showing anymore.
I mean, yeah, because Deadpool took them all. But yeah. because Marvel was expecting that to be the next Avengers, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Yeah, well, Fox is the one hoping that it was going to take down the Avengers. And yeah, it was #1 in the box office, but they're already saying it's not going to make $600 million in the box office.
No, there's no way. To me, there was no way that was gonna happen.
No.
But it would do well.
Yeah.
So overall, no. Like, if you've been following the movies up until this point, in case you haven't had the chance to see Infinity War, because believe me, I get it. Finding 2.5 hours to watch the goddamn movie. It's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it if you still haven't seen it, but if it was on your list, please do. It's good.
Yeah. So what's next, Daniel? Oh wait, rating, go.
I give it a solid 9. A 9 lies to my face of the Hulk out of 10.
Yeah. I give this movie just because I did feel that there were maybe some scenes that could have been left out, and like the movie was maybe a little too long. I'll just give this movie a straight 10. It is a 10 finger snapping. No, better. It's a 10 giant dwarfs out of 10. Even though there's technically only one in the movie.
Giant dwarfs, yes.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Peter Dinklage looks good in this movie, people.
Next in the lineup, we have Deadpoolio.
Deadpoolio 2, and I do not know if this is the one I want, so we'll just start with it.
Please no.
Yeah! Dano, okay. I'm gonna tell you this right now, people. I was not a big fan of this movie just because they had your boy the Juggernaut in it, and they did not let him say his iconic word that was basically just an internet meme.
No, I mean, they only had, like... I guess they wanted to play on that joke of, like, oh, we can only do so many swear words.
That's true. And he did have his own theme song, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, the theme song that you had to show me for me to believe you.
It's the Juggernaut, holy shit balls.
Fucking harmonized, no less. Yeah, the Polio 2 was just like... To me, it was just kind of mildly offensive how much subverting expectations they did. But
yeah,
it's just like,
them.
we're gonna have the X-Force, and we literally just destroy the entire X-Force in the same scene.
And they were people I liked. Terry Crews, Brad Pitt, the dude who played Pennywise in fucking, It, yeah. Did you know that was Brad Pitt, by the way?
I did not.
I didn't know until... He was the Vanisher.
What? Oh, because you couldn't see it?
Yeah, so when he gets electrocuted, you just see Brad Pitt getting electrocuted. I didn't know that until me and Oscar and his friends are talking about it, and then this old man next to us in Del Taco was, and did you see that Brad Pitt was the Vanisher? I'm like, it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say?
He was, fun fact, the reason he's in the movie is because he was supposed to be Cable, but scheduling got in the way, so they're like, hey, do you want to be in the Vanisher and film your scene in like 2 hours? Sure.
The most I'll give credit to this movie, which is why I like it as much as I do, is the absolute perfect casting of Cable.
We're kind of gonna go half on that. But
You're gonna go half on that?
Yeah.
I think it's perfect for the character Cable of like what is his name?
Josh Brolin, Thanos.
Oh yeah, Josh. Like,
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
He looks like Cable.
Mm-hmm.
He talks like him. He's intimidating like him. He looks great in shape, by the way.
Yeah.
And
I
remember
like a man hitting his 50s right now, too.
Yeah, and then you told me that like he had to work out like hell to get for this role. No, he looks great. He as far as an interpretation of Cable goes,
It's
like
good.
It's
yeah.
really good.
My whole thing with him is like I thought he was good. He definitely looked like the character. I would have loved to see Stephen Lang from Avatar and Don't Breathe play him, because he was like the first guy who was like, I'd love to play him, and Fox was like, you know what? He wouldn't be a bad choice, but the director and Ryan Reynolds are like, no, I want the guy from Stranger Things. No, I want Nathan Fillion, because Nathan Fillion is a funny man. He's the robot.
I know,
in
he's
Destiny.
Cade Six.
Yeah.
I know that name.
Yeah, right, Cade.
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
I know Nathan
But-
Fillion because of Cade. Cade is the best thing. Is still the best thing.
Yeah, so my whole thing with Cable wasn't the fact that I think his performance was bad. I just felt that they didn't really give him enough. I mean, all we really know is that he had a family, and then he went off to the future to basically go kill the man who would kill him. And it just the whole time, he's kind of a one-note character, and there's only some times where his straight man will play off well with Deadpool, and then there are other times where it just feels like it's clashing a little too much with how silly this movie is.
Well, that's the thing. That's like Cable is that serious all the time, and the only reason he gets any like mildly witty or funny is because he teams up with Deadpool a lot.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, you fuck.
Yeah. And one of my favorite jokes, and this is mainly just because of how good like the movie itself was, but my favorite joke is when Deadpool's like, wait, you're from the future? Tell me, is this person still alive? Is dubstep still popular? And then he's just like, dubstep's are pussies. I love dubstep! And they just play dubstep randomly, and they do that like twice.
They played your boy Battering.
Yeah, they played Skrillex's Bangering.
Yeah, they played your boy Skrillex.
But yeah, that would just be parts in this movie where, again, I'm not big into the movie. I don't hate it, but there were just parts in this movie where I'm like, okay, that joke didn't do it for me. But then they hit me with like the most random line ever, and it's just like, okay, that was good. Like, there was so many DC bashing in this movie. There was so much like, fuck you, DC, you fucked up bad.
I mean, yeah, because why wouldn't Deadpool trash on DC and...
Man, that's really dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?
I think Marvel executives were like, oh, we can say this, and it's okay because it's Deadpool? You don't say.
Yeah. Do you believe me if I said I was fighting a caped crusader and the fight stopped because we both found out our mom's name was Barbara?
No, wasn't it Martha?
Huh? Martha,
No,
yeah, Martha.
No, not Barbara, Martha.
And they could get away with it because you could say the name of any company. You just have to not show any logo. You just can't make it obvious. Like, they could show the name Green Lantern because it's not the Green Lantern logo.
Well, yeah, because it's just a name.
Yeah, so...
but yeah, overall, Deadpoolio 2, it's funny. It's entertaining. I wasn't bored. For the most part.
Yeah, no, I definitely
like
wasn't.
I think the one thing that really sold me in the start of this movie was the Casino Royale looking fucking intro for the credits.
The James Bond opening.
Yeah, and it was fucking bullshit, like all full of bullshit.
Directed by the guy who killed the dog in John Wick.
Yeah, like just. There are moments in this movie that are just fucking fantastic. I'm like, yes, so much yes. But you know, as far as comparing it to the first one, I just think there's a lot of that the first one accomplishes more than this one, and that's one that the first one had a lot more violence.
Yeah.
And I felt that this one's toned down too much.
It was toned down, and one issue I had is they toned it down just to bring in a lot more like, oh, haha, isn't this weird? And I feel like this movie had a lot of, like, weird plot holes and weird dumb things happening, and they kept going back to the fourth wall breaking more as a crutch rather than a joke.
Yeah, so, like, for me, it was just, it needed more of its gritty violence.
Yeah.
To really sell some more, like, you know, violence jokes and all that other stuff. But overall, yeah, it was just a movie that's just like, isn't that funny because it's fucking weird?
Yeah.
And like, you know, there are times that, yeah, that's fucking funny. There's times of like, you're pushing it too hard though.
Yeah. Again, the whole baby legs joke, which went on for like 5 minutes.
It went on way too long.
Yeah. One person I do want to bring up, and I think you know exactly who I'm talking about, Zazie Beetz, who plays Domino in this movie, was fucking fantastic.
She's great.
So I recently started watching this show called Atlanta, which is a show produced by Donald Glover, and she plays Donald Glover's like on-again, off-again girlfriend, and she's great in that show. In this movie, they actually loved her so much that they went back and shot some additional scenes with her, so I could tell that after that entire car chase with her, she was going to die. I could even tell the exact moment she was supposed to die. And that was the scene where she jumped off the freeway and she was just like getting ready to fall on that inflatable panda. I'm like, I bet there's a cut in the movie of her just splatting on the floor after that.
Oh. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
To sell that joke, it's like, see, you aren't lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Luck isn't a superpower. Let's meet down the middle and say no, it's not.
But yeah, no, I can see exactly what you're saying right there. But yeah, no, she's wonderful. She's fucking great.
Yeah.
And the scenes they made with her creatively were interesting. Of like just everything going around her like going to shit, but she's fine.
Yeah,
because she's going this way at the right time, at the right moment.
Yeah, and it's like...
And as the loss of reality just bend around her to her whim.
Yeah, and while she's having this really badass scene of getting into the truck, Deadpool just keeps going and is like, "You're not going to get into... I'm in." Really? Already? Once again, it is without saying that Ryan Reynolds was fantastic in this movie. This really was a character that he was born to play.
He's just really, really good.
He's so charismatic.
He's really good.
How did you feel about the very opening of the movie, how they spoiled a movie you haven't seen yet?
Oh, that Wolverine well, it always was like that's how it's gonna end. Like, cause I already heard people were sad about it. I'm like, okay, there's only one way that goes. It didn't take much.
But didn't you think it was kind of brutal how they showed how he died? Because that's exactly how he died.
He died the Last of Us way?
Yeah, pinned on a tree.
He died the Last of Us way.
Yeah,
Only Last of Us you lived through that.
Yeah, but overall, when it really gets down to it, I loved a lot of things about the movie. Felt that they repeated too many jokes from the first movie. The kid, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. He went off from being sickeningly adorable to just irritating and dumb.
Yeah, the kid, he needed some work, but I didn't mind him because I believed him as a kid.
Yeah.
I believed everything that's like, yeah, you would say that.
and he was funny because he was like the only other character kind of breaking the fourth wall too, where it's like, how many plus-size superheroes do you see out here?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I really like this movie. Again, I'm not with those people who say it's better than the first one. The first movie was definitely a good 8. This movie just sadly is a 6.5 burnt teddy bears out of 10.
For me, it's a solid 7.5. I give it a point more because I'm like it's good.
Yeah.
If you like this type of humor, it's all you. It's a 7.5 freaking tiny baby dick jokes out of 10.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of with YMS. I wish they will start doing facial tracking because the CG faces aren't looking that good on Colossus. Oh, and also, in case you didn't know, yes, Juggernaut was also Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they told me it was just his head stretched out. and I'm like, oh, shit. That's genius.
Man, I wish they dug up Randy from My Way Entertainment and, like...
Oh, they put that... Yeah, well, I mean... Nobody... I mean, okay. As much as some people would like that, it would be way too out of the fucking board.
Yeah, because... From there. We saw X-Men 3. They do that, and a lot of people had issues with it.
Yeah, they did say it there.
Yeah.
And
so I think this movie is just trying to keep itself away from all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, next movie we have Solo, which, look, this is going to be another pirate, so...
We're going to quickie this one as well.
I thought this movie was just so unnecessary. Look, Han Solo was kind of cool as the mysterious rogue who would later develop a heart of gold and a soft spot. This movie was just like, he always had a soft spot. This is how he got the gun. This is how he got the Millennium Falcon. This is how he got his last name. Really?
Yeah, I always thought that Han Solo's name was just his smuggler name that he just told people.
I always just thought it was his real name that was symbolism for him being a rogue.
I mean, it plays on that too, but I'm saying for me, as far as where his name comes from, it could have been like, oh, that's just a smuggler name, and then since it gained like notoriety and like infamy, he just like kept it, and he's like, no, that's my name now, for real.
Yeah.
Like that's how I always pictured his name, regardless. For me, the movie is unnecessary in the sense that it's about Han Solo. It could, because like for me, I want these kind of Star Wars movies that have nothing to do with like everything, and it's more to do about all the side stories of some people. Because as someone, as you're well aware of, that loves the Clone Wars animated series a lot.
Yeah. Who has an entire box set.
Well, yeah, and it's all about those other stories. I could easily see some of those as being awesome fucking live action movies.
But also the thing about Clone Wars 2 is like 60% of the episodes have nothing to do with the Skywalkers or characters we're familiar with. They're
and that's
all background
why, and that's why I love it, because it's all
that's what I want
universe
these
building.
movies to be.
Yeah, more universe building movies are needed. And I felt that, okay, look, it's scary to not do the normal formula. I get it. They need a crux character to guide people to want to go through this not, good versus evil thing we've had for years. Years. So, I get it. But this movie was just like, you could have been exactly what I wanted you to be and needed, and you would just be a vessel that I'm familiar with to guide me through all this other shit and story and universe that these movies don't have time for. And this movie kind of dives into that subculture of the scoundrel of the galaxy, and you gotta know all these shady bars and bet with really dangerous people.
We know that there are other mobsters besides Jabba out there.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, but we'll mention that shit. Like, oh yeah, Jabba the Hutt, he's got some gig, he's building bounty hunters for this thing, and that's nice that they have that kind of subtlety, and not like a giant in-your-face wanted poster, Jabba the Hutt looking for bounty hunters.
Or like him running into Greedo, and Greedo like, I will meet you one day.
And Greedo is like, hey, watch it, I was walking here first.
Yeah, like Rogue One, when they had those two guys from the cantina, it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing all the way out here?
What are you doing here, and how did you get out? You drunken ass pieces of shit.
Yeah, this movie, though, I was so not interested in it, but at the same time, I am a hardcore Star Wars fan. I love anything Star Wars except for these standalone movies so far. Because when it really gets down to it, I don't like the prequels. I mean, who does? But I do recognize that the prequels are still following one concrete story. To an extent, they're kind of being faithful to the lore around them, except for the characters. But they're still Star Wars movies. I still feel like I'm watching a Star Wars movie. These movies, Rogue One, Solo, I don't feel like the Star Wars movies. I just feel like they're fan films that should have been on YouTube.
They're fan films with just bigger budgets.
Bigger budgets and really big names.
But to me, Han Solo was just like, this is not an offensive film. It's not great. There's nothing really to write home about. It doesn't really answer anything I want to know. Mm-hmm. It's just like arbitrary reasons why he obtains or has blah in episode blank.
Yeah.
And I felt so much of that information unnecessary. And I also saw that a bunch of people were offended by the robot because they felt it to be a joke of the
on
things.
Feminists
and
SJWs.
The robot was too silly that it made an SJW of like voice message just get like drowned out into stupid humor.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
They didn't think that all the way through is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I am not a big fan of K2SO, but compared to L3, I'm okay with K2 now. K2...
I love K2.
He cracks some jokes, and there's not really much character to him besides that. But at least I never got annoyed when he was there. I just felt like he wasn't a character. This robot, I'm like, wait, you killed her off already? Yes!
And then it's like, what? She's the reason for the ship's navigation system? Why?
And being so sassy in the original movies?
Yeah, I'm like, why?
That I actually thought was kind of cute when someone explained that to me. But again, it almost does make Han feel more like a douchebag because Lando loved that robot, and the Millennium Falcon is the only connection he has with her, and now he lost her on a poker game.
He lost both to a bet. Hey, I mean, that's one thing I liked about that movie is that, like, he sees the card counter, just takes all the fucking card.
What did you think of the kid playing Solo?
He's alright, I guess. I mean, I guess he's,
He's doing it.
He's got the young, spry adventurer, like, attitude, which I would expect Han would have, which is perfect. But they left out the scoundrel part, and so it's just goody two-shoes. I'm gonna go do something.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him because for the most part, he was very, like, mouthy and, kind of a dick, which is what originally Han Solo is. But at the same time, he's bringing more to the character. Some of it works, and others don't, such as I already have a heart of gold, even though I don't get one until after I meet Luke and Leia.
Yeah, because then I have people to care about, and I don't have anything I care about besides this one girl that we've never ever mentioned, ever.
And I told people that the best thing in this movie was the relationship between Han and Chewie. And they were like, well, that's not really a big deal because we all know that Han and Chewie have great chemistry together. And I'm like, no. Harrison Ford and the guy in the Chewbacca costume have great chemistry together. This is the first time we're seeing Chewbacca, which I think is the same actor, having to act with a completely new guy and have the same level of chemistry that him and Harrison Ford had. And I loved it. I loved how basically Episode 4 tells you that Han was kind of lying about how he met Chewbacca. And it was funny because originally he said, I found Chewbacca and I rescued him. There was no mention that he was originally going to be fed to Chewbacca, and Chewbacca was like seconds away from killing him.
It was just seconds away from eating him.
Yeah. I thought that was really charming. That's really what brought the movie up for me, but again, the name lost me, and I knew from that moment on there was nothing this movie was going to do that was going to go anything higher than that. Anything higher than somewhere around a 5 or a 4. I thought Emilia Clarke was okay, playing his girlfriend. I thought she was okay.
She's cute.
She didn't have to be there. She can go off into being the mother of giants. She's fine. Lando did not do it for me at all. I really have no idea why people are like, he was really good. I'm like, really? Because it feels like he's doing an impersonation of Billy D. Williams instead of following what Han Solo did, and that was be him, but also bring something new that you can only bring.
Yeah, I thought it was perfectly fine, young Lando. Like, I really liked him, but it's not to say that it's like... I agree with that, what you just said. For me, it was just like, he's fine. Yeah. He's perfectly fine. He's totally serviceable to anyone. That there's no question in anyone's mind that that's not Lando.
Yeah.
Like, it's the sense that you're like, it could be a much more, like, on-point Lando for you. And to be fit in that time period. But we didn't get that with Han as it is, so it's fine. Just make them be that thing, even if it feels like they're playing pretend, which I do think so, because, as we just said,
but
Han Solo was not always a good guy.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, and that's why all I'm asking is if you cannot give me a believable Lando performance, then do what the guy playing Han Solo was and bring something new to your impersonation. Because to me, it just feels like you took everything Billy D. Williams taught you and you put it in your character and you didn't put anything else. Because Billy D. Williams did train him to nail the character down, which is why he does work for a lot of people.
Oh, he did it personally?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Then that should bring out that authenticity. Why, like, it's like, no, you don't have to question it. That's totally Lando.
Yeah, and that's why there are moments that worked. Moments that I did think worked for me was the first encounter they had. Their back and forth was really nice and natural, and it was probably that got the most laughs out of me. Overall, did you also notice this movie was really dark? Not in a tone way, but just horrifically shot. There were scenes where I couldn't see faces and...
They didn't have all the lighting equipment that day, so they just decided to film the movie.
Yeah.
And then that first shot had good lighting, so they reshot the movie.
Yeah, like
and then forgot to switch the film.
What was his foster mother called? Lady
Worm Lady.
Lady Proxima. Yeah, it was a giant worm lady. You don't see how that thing looks like except for 3 seconds
of sunlight.
Yeah, that it quickly had to dive underwater and go back into the shadows. I thought this movie was just... I didn't like it. I didn't need to know anything about this. I don't appreciate them trying to get a sequel out of this by being like, Darth Maul is a leader of an evil gangster organization.
I mean, he was at the end of Clone Wars, but Senator Palpatine went fucked the shit up, and it implied that he killed them.
And the Emperor is still out there. But then you kind of think about, because they did say that the Red Dawn is working very close to the Empire, so maybe maybe the Palpatine turned him into his bottom bitch.
I don't know. The point being is, it gives that suggestion that Darth Maul can make an actual return to the movies. We hear him talk for the first time ever.
Yeah, still played by Peter Serafinowicz, who is currently the Tick in the Amazon series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been him ever since episode 1.
They got the same dude as it? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's same voice actor because originally Darth Maul's physical appearance was the guy who played the Toad in the X-Men movies. Who I think right now is really mad no one told him this was going to happen.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not looking forward to this movie. I might not even buy it. I don't know. I bought Rogue One just because I want all the Star Wars movies. I don't know. I give this movie a 4. I forgot the name of the things they were looking for. I give this movie
Coaxium.
Oh yeah, I give this movie 4 Coaxium bottles out of 10.
Yeah, for me, like I'm a little more generous in this respect because I don't feel it to be any offensive to be a 4. To me, a 4 is a movie that offended me. Anything below 4, 4 or less, it's offended. And this movie,
I was offended by the whole Solo thing. That's why.
That's okay. But like for me, yeah, I wasn't offended. It was a fine thing for what it is. It is a movie. You can enjoy it. Although not much happens. You could sleep through half of it and be fine.
The fact that you were bored with it, I'm like, wow, that's kind of surprising.
It was boring.
Yeah.
Because like you either nothing was happening or you couldn't actually see anything on the screen.
Yeah. And like that scene in the trailer where they're on the Imperial train and they're being attacked by like stormtroopers, that looked way more exciting in the trailer, and then in the movie it's just kind of like, okay, point A and point B, right? Alright. Okay, whatever, fine.
I did like that equipment though that they had. That was cool.
That was really cool. And I liked how it wasn't just they couldn't just walk with it either. They had to walk, wait for it to unlock, walk, wait for it to lock. I thought that was really cool.
I did like Woody Harrelson.
I thought he was fine. I mean, he wasn't really a character. He was Woody Harrelson, but he was fun. He was really.
That's why I liked Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
it's like no, just him in general, because that was him.
I'm really mad that they killed his girlfriend off. I guess it's because they only had her for a few days because she had to go back to Westworld. But I really liked her too. With Andy Newton's character, I thought she was kind of cool. Fuck that monkey thing though. I hated that monkey thing played by Jon Favreau.
Oh.
Ooh, God, I'm so glad he died too.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Danny's glad that they Rogue One that where everyone died.
Yeah, everyone dies at the beginning. At least it was nowhere near as hilarious or offensive as Deadpool was. Poor X-Force.
Rip.
Oh, they filmed additional footage for them. Okay, I'm sorry. Alright, so, Daniel, your rating. Oh, you gave your rating, right?
No, I haven't. Mine's a 6. Did you see this gold dice out of 10?
Yeah, did you see it? We wouldn't want you to miss your moment of clapping, right? Also, every Star Wars movie I've been to, including Rogue One, super enthusiastic audience.
Yeah.
I saw this movie on a Saturday night, a bunch of young people around me, old people who would be fans of this, not a single clap, just a couple of chuckles, and the obligatory, it ended.
It did it.
Yeah.
It finished.
But there was no one like, wow, yeah. How long do we keep clapping until the last person stops? Yeah.
No, God.
None of that.
But okay, yeah, there was kind of quiet.
Yeah. When you saw it too, I bet.
I mean, we had a few
than me,
people
too.
though that were like, woo, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we had a few.
Yeah, it's also because like my theater, I was put into those Pacific theaters had a lot of like theaters playing it, and I was put into one of the really tiny ones, but it was still packed, and I figured, there'll still be some people going crazy, right? But knowing you guys probably got into like the bigger theaters because AMC can afford those. So anyway, yeah, let's move on to our last movie, a movie Daniel had no idea what it was until sometime this week ago. Upgrade!
You mean until like 3 days ago?
Yeah.
I got this.
So...
This doesn't seem like a well-thought-out plan. I need your permission to operate independently. Permission granted! Thank you.
Stay down, man. Sam, he's got a knife!
See, Dad, we had a life too.
Yeah, they actually showed in this trailer.
No, okay.
Yeah, so Upgrade is a 2018 body horror action film. Even though Blumhouse's trailer does not tell you that at all, they just want you to think it's an action movie. They'll go on Wikipedia and they will flat out tell you it's a body horror. Do not let people do not let people trick you. It focuses on a young man named Gray Tracer. Which just sounds like an Overwatch skin.
Which is your local Overwatch blue rarity skin.
Yeah. The one you cannot get on the anniversary editions because there's only a 3% chance of it popping up. But yeah, he plays basically a guy who lives in a world where it's just surrounded by technology. You don't have to do anything. Technology does everything for you. And he's like the last good handyman. He builds cars. He rides around in this beautiful... Was his also a Firebird, or was it just like a Camaro?
It was just a Trans Am.
Oh, yeah.
It was not a Camaro. It was a Trans Am.
Yeah, so...
I know it because of the red line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he just rides around in a normal Trans Am. He has a beautiful wife who loves him very much and cannot act for shit.
Don't worry, she's not there much.
She's not there for too long. But, you know, after he goes to a house, sells a Firebird to a very wealthy Leonardo DiCaprio clone. Jesus Christ, where are these kids coming from?
Oh my god, you're right.
Dude, I could not stop thinking about it.
One of my coworkers look like Leonardo DiCaprio. I shit you not.
Did anyone ever try to get him into acting? Because I swear every Leonardo DiCaprio clone is an actor in
He's
some
heard
way.
that joke 300 million times. He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude, well, think about it. Dane DeHaan from Spider-Man and Chronicle, Valerian, fucking the kid from Stranger Things. I don't know if you know that one. His name's Charlie Heaton. But yeah, there's so many of these DiCaprio clones popping up. So when this guy pops up and he's supposed to be like super Steve Jobs, like he's responsible for bringing technology to the world, and he buys the Firebird from, Gray here. So Gray and his wife are driving home, something hacks their car, and they get jumped by a bunch of these dudes who, horrifically kill her and, kill him. Well, paralyze him intentionally. So he's going on through his life. He's in a house that can do whatever he wants, but he just doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He tries to OD. Leonardo DiCaprio comes out and is like, yo, this super computer chip I showed you in your life, if I put that in your body, it can give you the ability to walk. He goes and finds out the thing can talk, has basically its own little personality, and says, yo, I can help you actually look for those guys who killed your wife. And it finds out that the thing can do basically anything, even give him super ninja powers, which is amazing. I definitely was excited for this movie when I found out about it back in April, and I was very pleasantly satisfied with the overall product.
For me, like, Upgrade was just like, I knew nothing about this movie, like I said, until like a few days ago.
Yeah, when I'm like, hey, want to see a movie you haven't heard of?
And I saw it, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks like a thing I've seen, kind of.
Venom, Parasite.
Yeah, Venom, Parasite, and all that stuff, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, sure, why not? We haven't done anything, maybe we can do a show afterwards as well, so, yeah, I go see it, I'm like, this is pretty good. I liked it. This was actually really fun, and I like how creative the camera work is.
Yeah, I didn't think it was also gonna be as funny as it was, because there was a lot of jokes in here.
There was a surprising amount of jokes that work here. Yeah, it's just a main character going, "Oh my god, something controlling my body. I'm not used to this."
yeah. Like a lot of people laugh when they see this part of the trailer in the house. There was a ton of people just cracking up in A ton of people cracking up in the movie too when we were watching it, but then they quickly become horrified when he takes down the way he took down this guy, which you can see in the Red Band trailer. I did not expect the entire theater to go, oh god!
They're just like, oh shit!
Oh, he's not gonna feel that one because he probably died in Impact. Yeah, I personally really enjoyed this movie. I'm usually into this kind of stuff, as long as you can give me a good story with some good humor, if I feel that your movie needs it. And this movie is very depressing for about the first 20 minutes until STEM shows up. I just cannot say anything. We really cannot say a lot about this without giving it away. But the fight choreography is awesome. Like Daniel said, the camera working is beautiful. There was a lot of body checking shots. Yeah. Oh yeah, the choreography, the way he had to move too. Yeah, there was a lot of that, and I wasn't crazy about that. Stop it, Daniel. Stop it. I'm talking about when they're following him from behind. The shots you liked, those shots are really cool. I'm not talking about, let's see what's going on.
No, but the camera's moving with those movements as well. That's the thing.
And when he fought too, I really like except for this one part, the one part you guys are laughing at, when the camera flips around, does like a full backflip for no reason.
No, yeah.
After he died.
I like that it did it again. I was like, wow, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, when the fight choreography happens, when he's doing these backflips, the camera is following him directly, and it's really making for really intense fight scenes that you can tell the characters' punches aren't really connecting with each other. But it's so cool. I like how the entire band of bad guys, they have like weapons integrated into their skin, which are like gun hands.
And I like everything about the you cock the gun by like flexing your elbow back and forward like cocking a gun. And
Man, it just really makes all those muscle body jokes funny. Where it's like, hey ladies, you want to see this gun? Was that an actual cocking noise? Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Stand back.
Man, that show was awesome. Where one guy's just like loading in bullets in his arm, and then he's like.
Yeah, but it was a really cool movie because it was just like I didn't know it was like super sci-fi cyberpunk. And I'm like, oh, look at all this crazy technology and the smart driving car that drives itself.
Yeah. That I actually really like the idea of how that car worked. How basically it was your own limo, and I also like how they could tell you had to be really wealthy to own one. Because you'd see a lot of modern-day cars with maybe some futuristic fix-ups to them.
Or they only had one of that car and didn't want to make another one.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet that car they crashed was just the gold car from the beginning that they, like, painted up for that scene. Because this was an indie movie that it is to be believed that Blumhouse didn't make it, but they bought it. And they've done that before with Whiplash and, like, a couple of other movies. But yeah, I really like this movie. I thought the relationship between him and STEM was really good until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way.
I mean, I just like the whole premise that it's just him talking to himself. Because no one can hear the robot in his head.
Yeah.
So it's just this dude, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like when a cop, who is literally in every fucking Blumhouse movie for some reason, she was the maid in Get Out, like, when she puts, like, a listening device on him, you just hear him replying to something, but not exactly anything talking back to him. And I thought that was really cool, seeing her react to it, like, what's STEM? Where are they going?
He's talking to his inner demons.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Dun, dun.
And also, I did like the fact how they gave him back the ability to walk around, but since this was human testing, which is very illegal, he basically still had to pretend to be a paraplegic.
Yeah, he signed an NDA.
Yeah. But there's a master plan to this movie, and it's definitely, I'm not going to spoil it for you because holy fucking shit, I'm still like, what? You're not fucking kidding me. But the more I thought about it while we were eating and even while we were talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I liked it. I think it was a nice little twist that wasn't asking too much of you.
It was good. it was just it was weird. It was funny. It was very graphic.
Yeah.
Like I got ID'd at the theater to buy these tickets. I'm like, for real? I've never been ID'd for a movie.
You're fucking 23, and he's just like, yeah, can I see some ID? And then I walk in with like my somewhat shaved face, and he's like, okay, you can go. And I'm like, really? This guy looks older than me because he has full facial hair going on.
Yep. It was scary. I've never been carded. I've never been carded for a movie, and we got carded for this.
Yeah, the last time I got carded was with Ted, and to be given, I was still in high school when that movie came out. But yeah, overall, I love this movie. I did have some issues that you guys brought up, like he was a very hunky paraplegic man. I also did think that I think the villains could have been a little bit better. They could have been a little bit more fleshed out and not just like stereotypes. I also feel like Leonardo DiCaprio Jr., he did an okay job, but I just wish there was a little bit more of his character going on. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 8 wrist cracks out of 10.
I'm gonna give this one also an 8. I got your hand out of 10. Because it's like, you know, I got your hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
So, but yeah, it was a perfectly interesting movie. I had no idea until this motherfucker was like, let's go watch it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have to order tickets in advance? I'm like, dang, we're going on Sunday to go see a movie called Upgrade. I think we'll be fine.
Packed theater, motherfucker.
It was at the end, but even when we bought the tickets, it wasn't fucking full.
No, that was a good portion of seats that were bought up, but when the movie started, it was like, I don't think there's a single empty seat behind us. The front row, of course, had a couple of people in it, but those are either people who snuck in or people who like the front row for some reason. I'll never understand that fascination.
They like it because it's always available.
Yeah.
And they like it because it's convenient. And, you know, they like it because they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because they clearly do not have any neck pain.
Yeah. The AMC X, though, I'm okay being in the front row in those because you can just be like, fuck, I'm in the front row.
Lean back.
Oh,
Lean
yeah.
back. Lean back.
This is awesome.
But yeah, those work. Those work.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for our show. I mean, we'll come back when we have time again. They'll probably be online. What happened? Yeah, we're still going. You don't have to worry about that anymore, Daniel. This is way more powerful than my potato.
Oh, yes. In case you're wondering, I was just like going back to the recording software because his own computer, you'd have to prime it to tell it to go there, so the next 5 minutes when you actually need it to be there, it would actually have loaded completely. So, So, you know, it was basically a toaster that was also a paperweight.
Yeah.
You know, that could barely
run
paperweight.
This. Yeah.
He got himself a new MacBook Pro. It's got a little touchscreen on it. It's cool.
It's nice. Yeah, and again, if it wasn't for that computer, we wouldn't be able to do the Kira interview, the Reina interviews, or any of that stuff. It really did give this thing a kickback, and I'm hoping that, you know, now that we're on YouTube and we're posting all this stuff there, that, you know, we'll find an audience that will enjoy us and, you know, be like, wow, you guys are totally ripping off the Sodanicast people with how much you sound like you don't care. We're not doing that intentionally.
For me, it's just like, oh, you listened to me for 2 hours. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You listen to this guy too? I mean, me, fine. I get it, but like, Daddy is a madman. He's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that was our show. Tune again next time. There will be more crying about Ash vs. Evil Dead getting canceled because Jesus Christ stars.
Watch, we're gonna do another show a couple months from now, and you're still gonna fucking be salty about it.
Daniel, that show got canceled in April. It is now June. So I've been crying from April all the way till now.
And yeah, and I bet you're gonna keep doing it.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
You're gonna keep doing it, even if we take another 2 months to get another show going.
And even like Netflix, where they were even talking about, well, maybe we could bring it back. Bruce Campbell's like, nah, guy, I'm done. No! You can't stop playing Ash.
Yeah,
you
he
are
can.
Ash.
He can, and he will, and he has. So rip. You don't get to do anymore.
But seriously, guys, go check out that show on Netflix. And also, be sure to buy Season 3 on Blu-ray and watch it on Netflix because Season 3 is the best season. I'm just saying.
I'm also just saying that Bruce Campbell, like, you know, he is the chief. No chief, no show.
Yeah, they can do it. As much as I love his daughter and think she is a precious cinnamon roll, yeah, they can't do it without him.
Like, to think that the LA Valiant had sponsorships from Ash vs. Evil in New Jersey, and, like, literally within the same month, they removed them because the show sucked.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me. There are jerseys out there that have Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yo, if anyone knows the Valiant guy, tell them to hit me up and I will totally buy that jersey from them just for the logo alone. Because I'm buying whatever Evil Dead shit I can before they get discontinued.
Which is happening as we speak.
Yeah, I have to go and buy a Bruce Campbell from the TV show because I do not have one from the TV show yet.
Yeah, you might want to get on that.
Yeah. I don't want to pay $30 on Halo. I'm going to look for it somewhere else. All right, bye, guys.